Scorpio, welcome to your Scorpio October 2021 reading and forecast. It's great to see you and I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the subscribers. Much love and affection to you always. Now, I don't normally say this, but if you do happen to like the video, then please, well, the reason why I don't say it is because I know that you're intelligent and you know how YouTube works, but if you do like what you see, please smash the like button, share with your friends, and if you're here for the first time, consider subscribing because you'll be so glad that you did. And many Scorpios have recently had private one-on-one readings with me, and if you would like to have one, just check out the information that's below. It's really simple to do. But now we're going to take 5 cards from this deck, which you probably haven't seen. Now, when I say probably haven't seen, it's because I actually haven't seen anybody do a reading with this deck on the internet. It's one which I've had for a number of years, and we're going to take 5 cards, by the way. That's all we need. And because they're jam-packed full of information, there's the Knight of Pentacles. Look, it's a deck that I haven't actually seen people use. I love the art on it. It's really got a real good mood to it, and I think it's good for this time of year. And the other reason why I like it is because it's particularly, that was the Hermit, it's particularly accurate. There's a 6 of Pentacles. And doesn't that just really reflect what is going on in the whole thing here for you, right in the center? What a good time of year it is for that 6 of Pentacles to be coming through and in a good spot. And there's the King of Pentacles. Well, it doesn't really get any better than this, but let's see what this final card is. The 2 of Swords. Good. Why don't you come sit down next to me? We'll have a good close look at these cards together while I do the reading for you. Now, can you see these okay? Let's have a look at this one first. This is calling out to me. The 2 of Swords for you. Well, the sword's bad. I don't think that this is bad for you. Why do I not think that this is bad for you? Let me see. I think what I have here is the moon. The moon ruling the first decan of Libra, the 23rd of September to the 2nd of November. Now, this is a really happy combination. Did you know that your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies? With the moon in the sign of Libra, you're likely to have, I think, a deep need for peace and harmony in your life during this time. Libra, as you know, is symbolized by the scales, although this lady here stands in a sort of as a vigil over the realm. Libra is symbolized by the scales, though, usually, don't we? And this can relate to any area of your life that requires balance at the moment. And this includes, I might say, your personal environment, work, or your relationships with others. Do you know, I think that the purpose of this card is about neutrality for you at this time, being neither good nor bad. So balance. But the suit of air comes from the turmoil between the suits of fire and water. But with the moon in Libra, there will be, I think, in here, you're going to find inner peace. You're going to have a great degree of power and ability to make decisions. Decisions regarding situations or relationships which engender spiritual peace as well as in this time. And you'll find agreement with people over things. It's a time, at last, you might say to yourself, of mental stability. Do you know, inner peace is a special gift. Protect it, but never try to cling to it. It may also be, though, a time when you could, even though there is an inner peace within you, you could be having a hard time making your mind up about something and therefore making a choice. It's not something which is acute, but it sits in the background and surfaces every now and again. I think you might find that you are dealing with the pros and cons of a situation. And although you're feeling very peaceful, you might kind of feel that there's a sort of a passivity to yourself or stagnation. But with relation to this decision or choice that you need to be making, which is simmering under the surface, I think you might lack the necessary information to make the right decision at the time. But when you get it, and you will get it. It's like the light goes on and you see the situation for what it is, and you'll be in a much better position to make the decision that is right for you. And decisions that you make at the moment should be geared towards bringing peace and harmony in your life. What areas of your life are especially important to you? You can come calmly now to the necessary decisions. Take the time for deep relaxation. You're in a good position to examine your past, present, and future, and write down your insights so that you don't forget them. And say to yourself during this time that a deep peace fills my heart. Well, we may as well have a look to see what's on top of her. And it is this card here, which is the Hermit. Wow, that's pretty abstract sort of a hermit, nevertheless. There's the Hermit's lantern. Do you see that there? Well, the Hermit, you might find that in this seeking peace that you do rely on solitude a great deal here. Which sometimes people call loneliness. But pray that your loneliness may spur you into finding something to live for, great enough even to die for. Now, the Hermit's quest takes him far from the company of others, for only in the comfort of solitude can he discover the truth that he needs. Too often the influence of others can overwhelm the wisdom of his inner voice. By removing himself from society, he regains the ability to listen objectively to his own thoughts. But the Hermit must be careful to revisit society once he has found the answers he seeks. To remain forever apart from contact is to lose one's sense of place in the world, and it is not why we have been born into this physical plane. He is for me, the prophet of the eternal, the magus of the voice of power. I think you will be finding your own light, going inward. There's completion of matters and things outstanding during this period as well. And a period also of harvesting the benefits from things, from investments of time and energy that you've made previously, and you'll be resting in your own center. I think you'll also find a great degree of, you might think this is unusual for you, but patience. I think there'll be a great degree of patience around for you as well. The Hermit has set out in search of internal fulfillment, and he has found the light within. He's so fulfilled by the wealth of the inner realm that the external world appears colorless and unimportant. But that is not the case. But when you do go into yourself, you really have come to your real home. You might find that you have a great love of learning, that is finding out things, curious about things during this time, doing a lot of searching things on the web, find out answers for things that you like. And this doesn't mean to say it's about rocket science, but you might be interested to find out what happened to this particular film star or gossip or anything. But a great desire to know things, I think, is what's going to be with you during this time. You might also find, I think, that you are in the position where people come to you for advice and guidance on what they should do about a situation, and you will give that advice, you'll give that guidance, because the advice is almost going to come to you by way of a divine inspiration. There's a wisdom that comes with that. It's almost a gift of the Spirit that will come to you, and you will make great use of that gift and provide it as it is intended to be used for the good of other people. You might also find, I think, that you get away from a situation, and this is this card here as well, but you might find that you are getting away from a situation in order to get a better insight into it. You know how she was talking about the light bulb going on and you getting the information that you need? Well, that might be coming about as a result of the energy of this Hermit card as well. Because I think that you will become aware of something with this energy that you were previously in the dark about. So spending some alone time for soul searching and recalibrating is also good, I think. And when you are alone, accept your aloneness. Don't concern yourself with people who don't understand you, who would rather see you be part of the herd. If you should meet a wise leader or teacher, then join her or join him. Actually, it just strikes me to ask you whether you have any unresolved situations or relationships in your life, because this is talking to me about completion here. This was also talking about completion, and this is coming through here strongly. Make a list of all situations which you now wish to resolve or in some way bring to completion, because whoever embarks on the search for the internal light must not be encumbered by unresolved conflicts. Accounts must be settled. You understand that, don't you? Say to yourself, I enjoy the feeling of completion and resolution. I will not compromise that which is important to me. I enjoy my aloneness, and I can stop being alone whenever I want. Well, then it's really Pentacle City after this, isn't it? You've got the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, and the Six. You drew this first, so let's have a look at it and see what it has to say to you. Here is the Knight of Pentacles. Well, I think his family has always served the monarch. Now, interestingly, I call him the Prince of the Chariot of Earth, but interestingly, I think that people such as Taurus or Aries may well be important to you, whether that's in their sun or in their rising sign. He is the airy part of... Now, esoterically, knights are air, and he's in Pentacles, which is the suit of earth. Look, in esoteric rules, they are in conflict with one another. You might recall the way a tornado, which is air, rips up the earth, or the way a hurricane does, or the way a typhoon does, or the way the winds in a monsoon do, or in a cyclone. So there will be some conflict in the nature here, and there could be some conflict in your nature here. Well, when I say conflict, I think it'll be complicated. I think you might be complicated during the period here. And if we're talking about somebody else in your life, as it could refer to, most likely as I say, it's likely to be a Taurus or an Aries, I think, then they could have some conflicts in their nature. But in any event, you, even though you'll have gone through this period of basically looking inside, rest and recreation, are going to come out the other end of it and find that you are energetic and a very capable manager of things. You'll be very steadfast in the work at hand, and you'll be slow to anger, I think, but look out if you are moved to anger. I think that you will have great energy to bring to bear on the most, in practical matters, great practical matters. You'll be energetic and enduring. You'll have great endurance during this time. You'll be competent, ingenious, thoughtful, cautious, trustworthy, I think. And you'll seek new uses for common things. I think you're going to be very good with your hands, or thinking about what people should do. And I must say this, you'll be able to adapt to circumstances and turn them to your advantage with a slow, steady, well thought out plan. This is an energy here that really represents the process of blooming and pollination. And this is what you will be doing during this time as well. Now, it will be a time, I think, in your life where you do take responsibility for your life. and become quite focused. You might find that you are good at physical activity during this period as well. And I think that you're going to have an interest in design and building things. Now, this doesn't relate to necessarily to building or designing bridges or houses or freeways or anything like that, you know, or the local, you know, turnpike. But it could extend also to fashion, to makeup, to hair, to beautifying things around your home, to cooking. It could relate to things in the external environment around you. Or you could find yourself, if you are in areas which are to do with building and design, it's very favorable for you. You will be putting a lot of effort into practical things. But because you become so focused, just make sure that people don't think that you lack any emotional warmth. And I think that this is going to be a time in your life when you are very goal-oriented and want to sort out the material side of your life. Not just money, but health, for example, career things, those things which are tangible to you. This is really the time to take action after being in this, well, I won't call it a hibernation, but in this time of recuperation. Because if you do take action, important experiences are going to result. What activities do you enjoy? What activities would help you towards self-realization? Find a physical, creative activity which you find joy and fulfillment in, and say to yourself, I am finding the work that fulfills me and which satisfies me. Now, sitting underneath him is the venerable King of Earth, or King of Pentacles. Let's have a look at him here. He looks like a wise, good, and just king, and that is how he will be remembered. Well, I also remember him as being the Lord of the wild and fertile land. Interestingly, Leo and Virgo, I'm getting a lot of Leo and Virgo around here. Why am I getting Virgo? That's an interesting point. Why is there Virgo coming up? Well, I think, do you know how each sign makes up 30 degrees of the zodiac? And each sign is divided into what they call 3 decans. Decan from the Latin meaning 10. So 3 decans of 10 degrees each. Well, the first and second decans of Virgo are ruled by the Sun and Venus, respectively. Now, he's the king of Earth, so he is about, and this is obviously a time when everything was agricultural, I think. So he represents, and the reason why I'm getting Virgo, I think, is because the first 2 decans of Virgo are ruled by the Sun and Venus, respectively, as I said, and the Sun is required for crops, isn't it? And the nurturing qualities of Venus, they really only complement him here. So I think that you will be patient, again, is what I'm getting through here, and a hard worker, clever. Here's the fiery part of Earth, esoterically. As a king, he's fire, and in Pentacles as Earth. There's no problem with that. But what you'll find here is that there's a lot of harvest going on. Look at financial investments. Now, I'm not going to give any financial advice, but obviously, there is financial investments here. Look, I've got the feeling that this king for you here is a master of health and material abundance, and his diagnostic ability can be applied to the body as well as to other material realms such as money, finance, capital, that sort of stuff. And in questions of health, he's valuable in his capacity as a doctor or a healer. So I think that what happens is if you do get a small illness or hay fever, that's going to that's something which is going to be, that could be an issue that comes up, I think, during this time. Now, what I will say about him is that he's actually very instinctive, and he has a good work ethic, and it's the work ethic which brings about rewards in the longer term. Now, there's no air cards present with him. There's no air in him at all. So he is not an intellectual. Now, I'm not saying that you're not intellectual or smart, because I know for a fact that you are, because well, I won't go into how I know that, but I do know that for a fact. But he uses a work ethic to get things done and working on instinct. So I think that this is a time for you not to go about, and he usually doesn't take much interest in anything outside the workplace environment, you know. And you won't find that you have a deep connection with Mother Earth during this period. But it is a time for you to, when you're at work, don't just go through it mechanically. But it's not the time, either at work or elsewhere in society, to go bringing about any revolutions or anything, but just during this month only, just go with the flow type of things, go with instinct. But now I think is also the time to set your abilities to work in service of some kind. Now the tasks before you are large and demand the use of all of your powers. If you make the effort, the harvest will reward you richly. And maybe ask yourself this also: are there any tasks you would like to avoid in your life? But remember that whenever things seem too much trouble for you, concentrate on the positive results of your action for you and for others. And your internal learning and growing process is the most important outcome in this scenario, more important than that which you even achieve by your actions. And have this thought in mind during this time. With every task that comes my way, also comes the energy needed to accomplish it. Now let's see, what else might there be here for you? Have we done everything? Well, we've just got this one to do. The Six of Pentacles. Why does that not surprise me, based on what is coming through in all these other cards for you? Here we have what I call the Lord of Material Success. Isn't that good news? It's the moon ruling the second decan of Taurus, which is the 1st to the 10th of May. Now, the good news is that in ordinary astrology, the moon is exalted in Taurus, which is a good sign. But the moon is very transient, isn't it? It waxes, it becomes full, it wanes, it disappears, and then it starts up again. So that means that success which you are going to have, there's going to be external manifestation of the inner with you as well, and success here, and great transformation. And I think that's a result of these other cards that we looked at here as well. But the successes may be transient, they may be short-lived. Now, don't look upon that as being something which is negative, but rather look at it as something which is practical, because success is not a continuum, is it? This is a success, then you have another success, then you have another success. It's not a straight line, it's not linear, but rather this is something that you have a success. And this is something which you're going to have recognition from others from as well. Now the moon in Taurus, well, the moon likes nurturing and comfort, and Taurus likes material things. So they are well suited for bringing about material success for you. So clearly there's going to be a success that you will enjoy, maybe more. Generosity I see also here, going both ways. You being generous with your time and advice to other people, and you also receiving from other people. Remember to pay things forward. I think you could receive a financial boost of some description here. If you've been looking for a grant or scholarship, I think that is going to turn out well. And for those who are looking at the welfare systems who provide them for some support at this time, I think applications that they make are going to be well received. Yeah, so there is a feeling here of material success, even a degree of financial prosperity, where you feel that things are starting to lighten up a bit in any event. Now, you may be provided with the opportunity to be involved in a profitable adventure. And this is also a reminder for you to remember the successes in your life to date and to build on those. Do you know, very often We look at where we want to get to something and we think that we're starting from ground zero. But remember, with you, you have your lifetime full of experience, which you're standing on top of. So you get the ability to look across to the next mountain and you find, oh, it's a jump down, or it's just a step up, or even it's just a step across. So have that attitude towards things when you look at other things as well. There's certainly going to be a desire for success for you during this period. I think the advice from the Spirit is that you should be willing to risk, be committed, trust your intuition. Be open to your success, though. It is no less than a gift you can learn to accept thankfully and humbly. Real success only comes once you have learned to serve. You understand that? Success under these conditions enriches all levels of your being. What does success mean for you at the moment? Visualize it. Visualize it before you go to sleep at night. Visualize as precisely as possible what your success looks like. And say to yourself, my acceptance and self-confidence are the keys to real success. Well, that's the way it is for you this month. Well, there you go, the month of October. Wasn't that fascinating? I thought it was fascinating anyway. I think it's going to be a great month for you. Things happening, things moving forward, things cleaning out inside, making you bigger, stronger, faster, and ready to take on the world, leading up into this season to come. Now, until then, though, and until next month's reading, there's one thing that I want you to remember, and remember this always, and it is that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.